Hey, what's up, narrative mindsetters? Welcome to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, GT. You already know what it is. It's a podcast where I narrate my mindset. And hey, you feel the way you feel about it. So, hey, I hope everybody's having a good day. Today is Monday. I am making a post because I wanted to get a thought that I was having out on my way home. I went to work today, and today was a good day. Got a chance to, kind of show the naysayers that I'm not some, guy that's, likes to stand around or be on my phone, whatever. So that was one thing that happened. Also, I saved about $700 Friday because my car was when I would get to about 65 or 70, my car would start kind of vibrating or whatever. So I thought it was my front wheel bearings. But when I took it to the shop, they insisted on doing a inspection. So I was like, man, look, I know what I want. I want front wheel bearings. So he said, okay, he'll sign this paper, like basically I'm gonna do an inspection anyway. So I was like, whatever. So they were quick. And again, I want to shout out Midas on Telegraph. Highly recommended. They are very quick with their service. Their inspection is at $85. I mean, you can't beat it. So ended up being tires. And I knew I needed tires and an alignment, but I didn't think it was going to be that simple because it usually isn't. It's usually the other way around. You say, okay, it's probably the tires. You get new tires and whatever was there is still there. So that was a blessing. But what I wanted to talk about in this episode was, I was thinking about where I used to be. About 10 years ago, I was in Kalamazoo, that's where I'm from, and I was working this job. I think I was making like $15 an hour. I was the second senior welder. Nobody could bump me, whatever. But it got to a point to where I was making more money when I took a layoff than I was staying there. So eventually I moved to Detroit. But what I used to do, and this is honest to God truth, I used to hope and pray, literally. I would apply for a job and I would, I'm doing the math, if they call me, I'm gonna be making this much, this is what I'm gonna do, yada, 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 which I think is a very good process. Because you're getting ready before you even get the job. So therefore, it doesn't hit you like, if you wait until you win the lottery and then you say, okay, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna go get this, I'm gonna do this, yada, yada, yada. Make the plans before you win the lottery. When you buy that ticket, start dreaming. I'm gonna do this. So then when it happens, now you don't need that 24 hours of cool down period because you've already done the math, right? So what I used to do is I used to literally, almost in tears, dream about, a job where I was making, I make $25.50 an hour. Now I used to dream about $25.50. I was so hungry to get a job, make more money, work all the overtime they had to offer, whatever. If I had to drive to wherever, it didn't even matter. And I would dream about, okay, I want to make, I just wanted to be able to afford to make a car payment. That was it. I was good with that. But the funny part is how, I don't know, it's like how prepared I was making myself without even knowing it. So if you fast forward now to where I am now, my bills are like probably $4,000 a month. I'm making a car payment, that's $600. Paying insurance, that's $800. I'm making a loan payment, that's $300 a month. My credit card bill, I try to pay like $4,000 every month on that. And I'm doing all kind of other stuff, and that's not including $150 to my energy bill, $150 here, $85 to my phone bill. I think it's $150 because I pay my own insurance, gas, groceries, anything else that I'm doing. Now it's not including that, and I do it without even thinking about it. I'm not stressed out. I'm not, worried about it. I pay it, and all I know is come, a certain date, I pay my credit card bill and I'm good. And I'm so appreciative of that, which to some people it may seem really simple, but it's like, I prepared myself so well, that now that I'm here at this point, which, like I said, to some people may not seem like a lot, but when you look at the reality of it, it is. That's $4,000 a month. I mean, to me, that's a big deal, for a regular working guy, But I'm so appreciative of being in that position, and I don't think that I'm better than anybody else, but there are people that I used to meet when I was driving Uber who were like, they were literally in tears because they didn't do what I call give themselves a choice, right? And giving yourself a choice is basically you just save up a month's worth of bills and then just keep moving through life and leave that savings right there until you need it. So therefore, if you having issues at a job and you're just sick of it, or, you're going through all this stuff, when you get up, you have a choice as to whether to go in or stay home. I constantly give myself a choice. I'm not out. I'm not trying to go to the best restaurant or go here or go there. I'm constantly making sure that I give myself a choice. And that's why it's so easy. If you listen to my episodes and my podcast, I'm always talking about, I was at Amazon, I left there. I was at the railroad, I left there. I was at the job I was at before this one, I left there. I take little tidbits of each job, and that was the way I got this job that I have now. If this job gets to the point to where it's a little bit, kind of like a soap opera, then I'm prepared to leave this one too. I'm comfortable leaving this one because also I did the work on myself. So therefore, my peace is worth more than most jobs will ever pay me. But the point is, all of that is work and preparation for not only to get to where I am right now, but to maintain the point to where I am right now. And for those of you that, for people who think, well, that's not a big deal, you're the kind of person I don't want around me. That's just not, you're not a bad person. I just don't want you around me because you don't appreciate what I'm doing. I want people around me who are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, or people that want to come around me to get the radiant energy off me. So therefore, it can motivate them because they're trying to get to this point. Their goal is to be much higher, but they want to you got to take it step by step. And those are the people I want to be around. But that's what I wanted to to get out in this episode that I'm so glad and I'm so appreciative that I'm in this position and I'm comfortable in this position. I'm not stressed out in this position. I'm not trying to live like anybody else because, I hear people all the time, for some reason, they always say, well, he thinks he's all that, or, he think he's sharp or whatever. It's like, look, number one, I bought my Mustang 2021. I paid $50,888. I put $10,000 down and then I got a loan. But no, I don't think I'm better than anybody with that car. I'm outdoing myself. I'm proud of myself. That's what I think. I got like 6 or 7 pairs of Jordans, that I can wear with my shorts and, whatever. I never ever wear them. But when I do want to get dressed, I can wear them. Do I think I'm sharp? Yeah, actually I do. I think that I'm proud of myself, and I think that I'm proud of myself to be able to do that. So yes, I'm proud of myself. And that's, what I wanted to talk about in this episode. And I wanted to get it out. I just got out the shower, but I wanted to get it out while I was thinking about it. But hey, thanks for listening to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. You already know the rules. If you like this episode, leave a comment. Help this podcast grow. I would really appreciate it. Have a good one.